Hello Internet, my name is Michael, and this is my channel, The Natural One. Today, we're going over something that is very near and dear to my heart. One-on-one D&D sessions. Now I know that sounds strange, D&D one-on-one? That's not usually how it's done. You need a party to get a game going, and trust me, I totally understand. A single fighter on his own is going to get butchered by the first mage he ever runs into. A cleric on their own, well, they're clerics and kind of squishy. A bard on their own, the stories go on and on and on. But I'm here to tell you why the game is great, not the flaws in our one-on-one game. Though I will be rebuttaling them in just a few minutes. The reason I love one-on-one sessions is just how concentrated, just how invested your player is. It's hard to explain, but it's the difference between having a one-on-one conversation with somebody and just having a conversation with your classroom, in all honesty. That person you're talking to is going to be far more invested in the words that you're speaking out of your mouth. They are going to be hanging on to every little detail on their own. And trust me, they will not be checking their phones when combat comes around. But there's just a different energy when it's a one-on-one session. Every word you speak, you know that person you're playing with is listening to. And instead of having to craft a story for a full party, you only need to craft a story for one. Play off the backstory as much as you like for that player, and watch the tears flow. The first time I ever ran a one-on-one session was with a friend. His name was Salvador, and he was playing a character that he named Saren. It was his first ever time playing D&D, and so we both jokingly said that his character would have amnesia to symbolize how little his own experience with RPGs and D&D was. I started him out in a sewer, unconscious without any memory, surrounded by corpses and Skaven, large rat people consuming the bodies around him. He was unarmed and unarmored. The next few seconds, as he started a visceral fight, cutting the bonds around his wrists, trying to run only to get tackled by a Skaven, trying to stab him in the chest as he desperately tried to turn the knife on it and stab it in the throat. Seeing the other Skaven making a run for it, I remember him charging after it, knowing that if that thing got away, it would tell others. After reaching out with a spell, because he was an arcane trickster at the time, he stabbed the thing. He was on 6 hit points. I saw the dumb look on his face as he smiled, as this was the most visceral combat, the most Dark Souls-like experience he had ever had in a game. Later on, as he realized he was on his own, he'd be coming across things that usually a party could take on, but him alone? Never. As he found himself doing a little bit of cat and mouse, trying to maybe do a few pinpricks to these bigger things before running away, exploring the sewers, desperately trying to find a safe place, trying to recover what little memory he had. He ran into a few unfriendly parties, more Skaven, a lesser vampire. It was an Ikamara, before coming across the first friendly faces he ever came with. A pair of dwarves named Thorin and Thorin, who worked for a local crime syndicate. Under circumstance, they were pulled together, and I remember their first visceral fight, as they finally locked themselves in to an old armory in the sewers, as they finally managed to destroy the creature that had been hunting him for the last couple of hours. He got to know the two characters, and there was something oddly satisfying about that. A single player will actually ask far more questions about these characters, and there's something beautiful I loved, because I love crafting characters, and I'm sure many DMs out there love crafting characters, and they hate it when party members just kind of wander off, making the conversation mean less. He got to know Thorin and Thorin, and they did a few missions together, and eventually he became quite attached to him, even going after Thorin at one point when he was far off into enemy territory. Thorin unfortunately lost his leg, but from a dying and decrepit city taken over by armies of the dead, he limped out of there with Thorin on his back and Thorin right behind him. 2 hit points were left by the end of that adventure arc, and he was level 5 on his own, and he had gone unconscious at least 5 times. I don't know how he survived, but I just remember that blood-pumping sensation, knowing that since he was on his own, nobody could save him. So, if you're a DM out there, just a player on your own, talk to your DM, talk to your players about doing a one-on-one session. Doesn't have to be long, doesn't need to be high level, just try it out. Let your DM flesh out his world to you as you explore it on your own, like you do in Skyrim or any of your other games out there. My name's been Michael. This is my channel, The Natural One, and I hope to see you next time.